Okay, I want you to just close your eyes for a second. Well, maybe don't if you're driving, but just picture this.
Oh, I'm already intrigued.
Imagine you're walking around your daily life and you're wearing a backpack.
What?
But this isn't one of those, sleek, high-tech hiking packs. It's an old, heavy canvas sack.
Ah.
And it is heavy.
Right. A really cumbersome one?
Cumbersome, and it's just stuffed with things. I'm talking rocks, old, crumpled receipts from, 2015, tools you don't even know how to use but you're afraid to get rid of.
A very specific and slightly anxiety-inducing image you're painting here.
Stick with me. It's also got awkward memories from your teenage years and maybe your entire resume printed out on, heavy cardstock.
Oh, the cardstock is a nice touch. That's heavy.
Now, imagine you've been wearing this backpack for so long, I mean decades maybe, that you've actually forgotten it's even there.
You've just gotten used to the weight.
Exactly. You've adjusted your posture to deal with it. You start to think that crushing pressure on your shoulders is just what shoulders are supposed to feel like. You think the clanging sound of those rocks behind your head is just the sound of your own voice. You start to think the contents of that bag are actually you.
And that is a terrifying, but wow, an incredibly accurate image to start us off.
Right.
It just perfectly encapsulates the specific psychological friction we're tackling in this deep dive. We so often feel limited or stressed or completely defined by our circumstances,
Our jobs, our bank accounts.
our moods, our relationships, you name it. We say things like, I am anxious, or I am a manager, or I am getting old.
We treat the baggage like it's our skin.
We do. And that's the core of it. We treat the baggage like it's us.
And that's why today we're going to perform a little bit of philosophical surgery. To separate the two, we're doing a deep dive into a Sanskrit concept called Upadhi.
Upadhi. It sounds like a really complex, linguistic term. And in some ways it is.
Yeah.
We're basing our discussion today on a really fascinating text by Andre Voss called What is an Upadhi and How It Keeps You Bound? And while it sounds like ancient jargon, what we're really looking at is a kind of mechanics manual for the human mind. It explains exactly how we confuse our true identity with our baggage.
And the promise of this deep dive is, well, it's pretty massive. If we can understand this one mechanic, if we can spot the Upadhi in action, we can stop feeling so heavy. We can realize that the weight we're carrying isn't actually, grafted onto our spine.
That is the whole goal. We want to understand the difference between who we are and what we are merely associated with. Because, as the source text argues, that single confusion is the root of almost all our suffering.
So let's define the mission here. We're not just learning a definition for a crossword puzzle. We're looking for a shortcut to being well-informed about the nature of the self.
Exactly.
We want you to walk away with a tool you can actually use the next time you feel overwhelmed by life.
Precisely. We are going to deconstruct the illusion piece by piece.
Okay, so let's unpack this word, Upadhi. It sounds lovely, almost melodic, but in the context of Vedantic philosophy, what are we actually saying here?
Well, etymologically, it's quite literal, which is one of the beautiful things about Sanskrit. It breaks down into two parts.
Okay.
You have upa, which means nearby,
Nearby.
and di, which implies transfers or to place.
Yeah.
So you put them together, and literally it refers to something that is standing close by.
So close.
So close that it appears to transfer its attributes to the object next to it.
But the key word there is appears, right? I feel like that's the trapdoor in the whole concept.
That is the most important part.
Yeah.
It transfers attributes, seemingly, without actually doing so.
Ah.
It's all a trick of proximity.
The source material uses a classic analogy to explain this, and I love this image because I'm such a visual learner. It's the crystal and the red flower.
Yes,
Can you walk us through this? Let's really paint the scene for everyone listening.
absolutely. Visualizing this is essential. So imagine you have a pure, clear, colorless crystal. Maybe it's a sphere, maybe it's a prism. It's just flawless.
No color of its own.
None at all. Just pure transparency. Now imagine you take a bright red hibiscus flower, or even a piece of deep red glass, and you place it right next to that crystal. I mean, physically touching it.
Okay, I can see it. The light's hitting the flower, it's hitting the crystal.
Right. Now, if you step back and look at that crystal, what do you see?
Well, the crystal looks red.
Exactly. If you walked into the room and you didn't know there was a flower behind it, you would swear on your life that the crystal itself is red.
You'd say, oh, look at that beautiful ruby crystal.
You might even start judging it, right? Oh, that red is a bit too dark, or that's a magnificent shade of red. You begin to discuss the redness as if it's a property of the crystal.
But the crystal isn't red.
No, not even a little bit. The crystal remains completely colorless and pure the entire time.
So the redness is just.
It's an illusion. It's caused by the proximity of the flower. The flower is the Upadhi. It's the limiting adjunct. It's the thing standing nearby that lends its color.
And the crystal is us. Is that where this is going?
The crystal represents the self, our core awareness. It's what's called the Upahitam. We'll get to that specific term in a minute. But yes, for now, the crystal is you.
Okay.
And the red flower. That represents your body, your mind, your emotions, your job title, your social status.
Right.
All of it.
This is where it gets really interesting for me. Because with a physical crystal and a flower, I can separate them. I can look from the side and see the gap.
Sure.
But in my own life, when I walk around saying, I am angry, I don't feel a gap. That anger feels like it's baked right into the glass.
And that's because the proximity is so incredibly intimate. The source text breaks this down beautifully. When you say, I am angry, you are making a fundamental error in perception.
Right.
The anger is the red flower. It's a state of mind. It's a chemical fluctuation in the body. It's happening nearby your awareness. But because it is so close, you assume the crystal itself has turned red.
So the reality check here is that I am not the anger. I am the awareness in which the anger is appearing.
Yes. You are the clear crystal reflecting a red flower. And think about the implications of that for a second. If the crystal never actually becomes red, does it need to be cleaned when the flower is moved away?
No, it was never stained in the first place. You don't need Windex for an illusion.
Exactly. It doesn't need to be healed. It doesn't need to be fixed. It was never actually red. The moment the flower is moved, say the anger passes, the crystal is instantly clear again.
That is such a liberating distinction. It means we don't have to fix our essential selves. We just have to recognize the flower for what it is, an external object.
That is the mantra of Upadhi. The transfer of color is apparent, not real. Let's get a little technical for a moment, because the source material introduces a specific pairing of terms here that apparently makes this mechanic work. We have the Upadhi and we have the Upanam.
Right. You can't have one without the other. It's a relationship. The Upadhi is the lender of the attributes, so the red flower, the body, the mind.
Okay.
And the Upahanam is the entity that seems to receive those attributes. So in our analogy, the crystal is the Upahitam.
Yes. And in your life, you, the Atma, the conscious observer, you are the Upahitam. You are the one seemingly taking on all the baggage from that backpack.
The source text gives another analogy that I found really helpful, especially for how we confuse the source of things. The moonlight analogy.
Oh, this one is great.
Yeah, this one clicked for me because it really changes where we think the light comes from.
It's poetic, but very, very precise. So imagine you're looking at the moon on a clear night. It's glowing, it's beautiful, lighting up the whole landscape.
Right.
Now, a person who doesn't understand astronomy, what the text calls the ignorant perspective, thinks that the moon itself is a source of light. They think shining is an intrinsic property of the moon, like a giant light bulb in the sky.
But we know it's not. It's just a big, dusty rock. It doesn't generate any light of its own. It's dark matter, essentially.
Exactly. The sunlight is the Upadhi in this case. The sunlight hits the moon and illuminates it, reveals it. The wise perspective knows that the light belongs to the sun, not the moon.
So the moonlight is distinct from the moon itself.
Completely. And we mistake the attribute, in this case the shining, for the essence of the object.
And we do this with ourselves constantly.
Constantly. The text points out that we say, I am happy, I am tired, I am old. We think these are intrinsic properties of our existence.
That they are us.
Right. But tiredness is a property of the energy body, the battery. Old is a property of the physical matter. Happy is a property of the mental state. They are just like the moonlight falling on the moon. They reveal the state of things, but they aren't you.
It's like we're claiming copyright on things we're just borrowing for a while.
That is a great way to put it. We're leasing these attributes, but we act like we own the entire building.
There's a third analogy in the text that I think hits home for anyone with a career or a strong social identity: the king and the actor.
Yes.
This felt so relevant to our modern personal brand culture, where we're always curating who we are.
Oh, absolutely. The social identity trap. The text asks us to consider a king. What is it that makes him a king?
Well, the crown, obviously. The scepter, the throne, the kingdom, the people bowing, the fancy robes.
And those are the Upadhis, the crown, the throne, the title. These are all just accessories placed nearby the man.
Right.
Now imagine a revolution happens.
Mm-hmm.
The crown is taken away. The kingdom is dissolved. Is he still a king?
No, he's just a guy. Maybe he's a beggar now, or a prisoner.
Exactly. The keenness was never in the man's biology. It wasn't in his soul. It was entirely contained in the Upadhis, the external associations.
So if you remove the crown, the definition just vanishes.
Instantly.
And the modern translation of this is, well, it's painfully clear. I am a teacher. I am a CEO. I am a father.
These are roles. They
Yeah.
are costumes. The source material is very firm on this point. It says, if you lose the job, you don't cease to exist.
But it feels like you do.
It feels like it. It's because we identify so strongly with the Upadhi, the job title, that when the job goes away, we feel like a part of us has died. We feel a total loss of self.
It's an identity crisis. But what you're saying is it's really just an Upadhi crisis.
That's it. You've just confused the costume for the actor. The actor is fine.
Right.
The actor can play a beggar next week or a warrior the week after. The actor, the Upahidam, remains completely unchanged.
I want to push on this a bit because it's easy to say it's just a costume, but it feels so real. And the source text agrees with that feeling. It says this isn't just one layer.
No,
We don't just have one red flower or one crown. We're buried under layers of them. It calls this the anatomy of misidentification.
It's like an onion. Or maybe one of those Russian nesting dolls of illusions. The text breaks this down into what it calls the three bodies.
Let's walk through these because this helps explain why the illusion is so powerful and convincing. The first one is the gross body, or stula shara.
Gross here doesn't mean yucky. It just means tangible, physical material.
The meat suit.
The meat suit, exactly. The body made of elements. The source text describes this as the abode of pleasure and pain.
And the confusion here is pretty straightforward, isn't it? I am fat, I am old, I am ugly, I am tall.
All of them. You are superimposing physical decay or physical dimensions onto the ageless self. You look in the mirror, you see some wrinkles, and you say, I am aging.
Right.
But the consciousness that is aware of the wrinkles, that they have wrinkles, is your awareness of the mirror older today than it was 10 years ago?
That's a trippy thought. My awareness of being 5 years old feels, in essence, the same as my awareness of being 30. The content changed dramatically, but the awareing itself didn't.
Precisely. That is the crystal staying clear while the flowers around it change from a bud to a bloom to eventually wilting.
Okay, so what's the second layer? The subtle body, or Sukhamashita.
This one is harder to detach from because it's less tangible.
Mm.
This includes your physiological functions, your senses, and crucially, your mind.
So this is where we get I am hungry, or I am emotional.
Yes. I am hungry is a classic error, according to this text. The stomach is empty. The subtle body sends a signal that it needs fuel. That's a fluctuation of energy.
But I feel it so strongly. I'm hungry.
But you are the witness of the hunger. Think about it this way. If you were the hunger, you would disappear the moment you ate a sandwich.
Whoa, okay, say that again. That's a really good point.
If I am hunger was your true fundamental identity, then when the state of hunger goes away, you should go away with it.
But I don't.
You don't. You're still there, now observing a state of fullness, so you cannot be the hunger. You are the screen on which the movie called Hunger is being played.
And that must apply to emotions too, right? Like, I am sad.
It applies even more powerfully to emotions. Emotions are like weather patterns in the subtle body. They're clouds passing through the sky.
Okay.
The sky doesn't say, I am a storm. The sky says, there's a storm occurring within me. But we, because we confuse the Upadhi, we say, I am depressed. We lock our entire identity into the weather pattern of the moment.
And the third layer, the causal body, or Karan Surya. This one sounds a bit abstract.
It is the most subtle. This is the seed state of ignorance or potentiality. It's primarily what you experience in deep, dreamless sleep. You know when you wake up and say, I slept like a log. I didn't know anything.
Yeah, total blankness. Just gone.
That blankness is the causal body. The confusion here is when we identify with that. We say, I was inactive. Or we identify with the void. Even the absence of activity is an attribute being superimposed on the self.
Wait, so even nothingness is a kind of red flower?
Exactly.
Okay.
Because if you can report there was nothing, then you must have been there to witness it and report it.
Huh. I never thought of it that way. You were the witness to the blankness.
Correct.
This layering gets even more granular, though. The source text talks about the 5 sheaths or kashas. It's like a further breakdown of these bodies. It really shows how tracked we can get.
It's a classic Vedantic framework they call peeling the onion. It just shows the gradation of the illusion from the most gross and obvious to the most subtle.
Let's run through them quickly because I think listeners will recognize themselves in at least one of these traps. The first is Annamaya, the food sheath.
This is the survival instinct, identifying with the physical mass. The thought is, I need food to exist, or I am this flesh. It's the most basic level of Upadhi.
Okay, that's pretty primal. Next is pratamaya, the energy sheath.
That's when you say, I am tired or I am energetic. You are attributing the battery life of your body to your internal nature. You think your very existence fluctuates with your blood sugar levels.
Right. Then we have manamaya, the mental sheath.
And that's the seat of emotion. I am upset. I am anxious. This is where most of us live our daily lives, isn't it? We ride the roller coaster of this sheath, and we think we are the roller coaster.
Then there's vijnanamaya, the intellectual sheath. This one is tricky because we value it so highly in our society.
Oh, this is the trap of the smart person. I am intelligent. I am rational. I am a decisive leader. It's defining yourself by your IQ or your ability to make decisions or your sense of agency.
I am the doer.
I am the doer. That's the big one. But even the intellect is just an instrument. It's a tool you use, like a calculator. You aren't the calculator.
And finally, anandamaya, the bliss sheath. Now, wait a minute. Isn't bliss a good thing? Why is this a trap?
This is the trickiest one of all. This is the joy you feel in deep sleep or in moments of extreme peace or meditation. But the text warns us, even this is a reflection.
How so?
It's still a sheath. If you say, I feel blissful, you are still objectifying a state. You're still in the realm of duality. There's me, and then there's my happiness. The true self is beyond even the concept of joy as an experience. It just is joy itself.
There's a technical nuance the source mentions here called mutual superimposition or anyonya adyesa. It says the illusion works both ways. What does that mean?
This is fascinating and explains a lot of modern scientific confusion, actually. It's a two-way street.
Okay.
First, we give the reality of the self to the body. We look at the body and think it's the source of life. We think the flesh itself is sentient.
And second,
we give the body's limitations to the self. But we think, I will die when the body dies.
So we lend aliveness to the meat, and we lend mortality to our awareness, our soul.
Exactly. And the source text points to the neuroscientist dilemma here. Most neuroscientists believe the brain, the matter, produces consciousness.
Right, that's the standard model.
And why do they believe that? Because of this mutual superimposition. They see the red flower, the brain activity, and the crystal consciousness so close together that they just assume the flower is creating the crystal.
They think matter is generating the I.
Vedanta says, no, that's backwards. The I is illuminating the matter.
That is a massive paradigm shift. It turns the whole ghost in the machine idea on its head.
It does. It suggests the machine is actually appearing in the ghost.
Let's zoom out, way out. Because the source material says this whole mechanic, this Upadhi thing, isn't just a personal problem. It's a cosmic structure. It scales up.
Right. We move from the micro to the macro. We've been talking about the jiva, the individual. The jiva is basically an equation. Self plus a micro Upadhi.
My specific body and mind.
Your specific body and mind. And the result is a limited, often suffering individual.
But then there's Ishvara, the Lord, or God.
In this framework, Ishvara is also an equation. It's the self plus a macro Upadhi.
And the macro Upadhi is?
Maya, the total creative power of the universe, the totality of all names and forms that exist.
So wait a minute, you're saying God, in this sense, is the same consciousness as us, just wearing a much, much bigger costume.
That's a pretty good way to put it. The jiva wears a costume of one body, limited power. Ishvara wears the costume of all bodies, all power, omnipotence.
But underneath.
But, and this is the radical part, the substance underneath is identical. The equation is simple. Self plus the micro mask equals you. Self plus the macro mask equals God.
And what's Clive? Self minus the masks.
Self minus all masks is pure consciousness. Brahman.
So you're not the jiva, and you are not Ishvara. You are the substance behind both of them.
Correct. You're the canvas on which both the small picture of you and the big picture of God are being painted.
To explain this non-difference, the text uses the pot space analogy, or Gokursha. I found this really helpful for visualizing infinite versus limited.
It's a classic for a reason. Imagine infinite space. Mahakya. It's everywhere, directionless, bounding everything.
Okay, just endless space.
Now take a clay pot and place it somewhere in that space. Suddenly, we have created pot space, the space that is inside the pot. We give it a name. Gakusha.
Right, so we have space inside the pot and space outside the pot.
Now, answer this for me. Did the pot actually cut the space? Did it slice a piece of space out of the hole?
No, the space is continuous. The clay walls just They just mark off a region of it.
Exactly. And does the space inside the pot have a shape?
Well, it looks like it does. It looks pot-shaped.
But space itself has no shape, does it? The pot has the shape. The space is just accommodating it. The pot shape is an upadhi being superimposed on the shapeless space.
Okay, I see that.
Now here's a kicker. If you break the pot, what happens to the space it was inside?
It doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't merge with the outside space because it was never separate to begin with. It just is.
Precisely. The attribute of accommodation belongs to space, not the clay pot. The limitation belongs to the pot, not the space. You are the space. Your body is the pot.
Oh, yeah.
You feel limited. I am small. I am here in this room. I am this shape. But that is just the perception of the pot walls. Break the pot, meaning transcend the identification with it, and you realize you are never small. You are always the infinite space.
That is beautiful. It makes the idea of death seem much less scary. It's just the breaking of a clay pot. The space inside is completely untouched.
It was never born, so it cannot die.
Yeah.
Space doesn't get old when the pot starts to crack.
Yeah.
Space doesn't get wet. When you fill the pot with water, it remains unaffected.
Okay, so we have the diagnosis. We are space thinking we are pots. We are crystals thinking we are red. How do we fix it? The source text talks about removing the upadhi. Does this mean I have to quit my job, leave my family, and go live in a cave somewhere? Do I actually have to smash the pot?
This is the most common misunderstanding, and the text is very, very emphatic about this. No, absolutely not.
Okay, good.
Removal does not mean killing the body or destroying the mind or stopping the world. The red flower can stay right where it is. It's a cognitive removal. It is jnanam knowledge.
So the crystal just needs to know, I am not red.
Yes. The text defines it as the destruction of the notion that the upadhi is real. You don't have to throw away the red flower. You just have to stop believing that its redness belongs to you.
You change your perspective on it.
You look at your anger and you say, there's the red flower again. Interesting color today. But you don't say, I am red.
It introduces the concept of mithya here. This seems like a key philosophical pillar for this to work.
It is. It's crucial. Mithya translates roughly to dependent reality.
Dependent reality.
Upadhis are mithya. This means they have no independent existence of their own.
Right.
Think about the clay pot again. Does the pot exist apart from the clay?
No. If you take away the clay, there's no pot. It's gone.
Right. The pot is just a name and a form that we impose on the substance, which is clay. The pot depends on the clay for its existence. Similarly, the world, your body, your mind, they all depend on consciousness to exist. If you remove consciousness, the world vanishes for you.
So to remove the upadhi is to realize it is mithya.
It's like realizing a movie is just light on a screen. You don't have to turn off the projector to know it's not real life. You just have to know it's a movie.
And that allows you to enjoy the movie without getting traumatized by it.
Exactly. That is liberation. You're in the world, but not of it.
The text gives us some practical tools, some logic tools to practice this cognitive removal, because it's easy to say, I'm not the body, but it's much harder to feel it when you stub your toe.
Very true.
One of them is neti-neti.
Neti-neti. It's beautiful. I mean, it's not this, not this. It's a process of negation.
How does that work in practice?
You look at the body and you ask, am I this body? No, I can observe this body. So, neti, not this. Then you look at an emotion, say, sadness. Am I this sadness? No, I feel this sadness passing through me. Neti, not this.
So you just keep peeling away the layers?
You keep peeling away the layers of the onion until you reach something you cannot negate. And what's left? The observer, the witness.
And there's another logic tool called Advaita Vedanta. That's a mouthful.
It is, but the concept is simple. It's the logic of presence and absence. It's like a scientific method for the self.
Okay, so it's a process.
You check. Is X always present when I am present? So let's look at the body.
All right.
1, in the waking state, my body is present and I am present. Okay, so far so good.
2,
in the dream state, my physical body is absent. It's lying on the bed, but I'm off on a flying horse in my dream. I am still present, experiencing the dream.
So you exist when the physical body is absent from your experience.
Therefore, I must be distinct from the body. It fails the test.
And you can do this with the mind, too.
Yes. In deep sleep, the thinking mind is absent. No thoughts, no worries, no plans. But you are there to wake up in the morning and say, I slept so well.
Right.
If you can exist without the thinking mind, as in deep sleep, then you cannot be the mind. This logic proves that you are the one constant factor in all these variable states.
And the third tool is Dakti Vivek, the seer versus the seen.
This is the simplest and maybe the most powerful. The rule is this. The seer is always different from the seen.
Okay.
Your eyes see your hand,
Yeah.
so the eyes are not the hand. The mind is aware of the eyes, therefore the mind is not the eyes. The witness is aware of the mind, therefore the witness is not the mind.
So you are the ultimate seer.
You're the ultimate seer, the Dach. Everything else, your body, thoughts, the world, is the seen, the Disha. And the seer can never be the object it sees.
It creates distance. It just breaks the glue between the subject and the object.
It stops the color transfer. It puts a little bit of space between the crystal and the flower cognitively.
Now, before we close, there's a really nuanced point in the outline that I found fascinating. Negative Upadhis.
Ah, yes.
We usually think of Upadhis as stuff, a body, a job, a car. But the text says that absence can be a trap, too.
This is for the advanced seekers, who might fall into a much more subtle trap. Imagine an empty vessel, an empty cup.
Okay.
We define it by its emptiness. We say, this is an empty cup. The emptiness becomes an attribute, an upadhi, or a barren land.
Yeah.
The lack of trees defines the land.
So if I sit in meditation and think, I am the void, or I am nothingness.
You have just turned nothingness into a new red flower and stuck it right on the crystal.
Wow. So even I am spiritual or I am detached is just another costume. A fancier one, but still a costume.
Yes. The text uses a great metaphor for this. A chain can be made of gold, or it can be made of iron.
Right.
I am sinner is an iron chain. I am a holy person is a gold chain. But both chains bind you.
They both limit you.
They both limit the limitless self into a definition. You are beyond holy or sinful. You are beyond full or empty. You just are.
So the goal isn't to get a better Upadhi. It's not to trade the bad employee costume for the good guru costume.
Not at all.
It's to realize you aren't wearing a costume in the first place. You're the actor, not the role.
That is the ultimate freedom. The text describes the emotional shift that happens using the ocean analogy.
Okay.
The ocean has waves and bubbles and foam. These are all Upadhis. They rise and fall, they appear and disappear. We usually think we are the wave. We get caught up in it. Oh no, I'm crashing, I'm dissolving.
Which is terrifying.
But the realized person, the Jivan Mukta, which means liberated while living, knows they are the water. Whether the wave is high or low, whether the surface is stormy or calm, the water is always wet. The water is deep. The water itself is unaffected.
So you can still have a job. You can still love your family. You can still feel sad when you lose someone you love.
Yes. The crystal still reflects the red flower. The liberated person doesn't become a zombie or some unfeeling robot. They still cry. They still laugh.
But the identification isn't there.
Exactly. Deep down, there's a kind of coolness. There's a persistent knowledge. This sadness is the red flower. It is beautiful, it is poignant, but it's not me. I am the space that is holding this sadness.
It takes the sting out of suffering.
It changes the sting into scenery.
Oh, I like that. Suffering becomes scenery.
Beautifully said.
So let's bring this all the way back home. We started with this image of the heavy backpack full of rocks.
Right.
The journey we've taken is from feeling crushed by that backpack to realizing that the backpack, well, it isn't even glued to our back. We went from the definition Upadhi is the red flower standing nearby. We looked at the mechanics. We confused the attribute, the redness, with the essence, the crystal.
Yeah, we saw the layers. The body, the energy, the mind, the intellect.
They saw the cosmic scale of it all, that we are all pot space thinking we are limited by the clay walls of the pot. And the solution isn't smashing the pot, but simply recognizing that you are the space.
Exactly.
That is the synthesis. You are the upahidam, the receiver, who has been hypnotized into believing you are the upadhi, the lender. The shift is just a shift in vision, not a change in location. You don't have to go to the Himalayas.
Yeah. You just have to look at your redness, your anxiety, your job title, your age right now, and ask, is this truly me? Or is this just something that's nearby?
It's so simple, but it's so radical. It undermines every insecurity we have.
It leaves you with nothing,
Yeah.
and at the same time with everything.
So here's a provocative thought to leave you with, listeners. If you stripped away your name, if you stripped away your job title, your gender, your age, your body type, your memories of the past, your plans for the future, even your sense of being a specific person. If you took all those red flowers away, what is left? Is it nothing, a terrifying void? Or is what's left the only thing that has ever been truly real? A silent, aware, vibrant presence that contains the entire universe.
That is the question to meditate on.
So try to notice one red flower illusion in your life today, just one. Catch yourself saying, I'm tired or I'm stressed, and just gently and internally correct it to, I'm aware of tiredness or I am aware of a feeling of stress. See if the crystal clears up, even for just a second. Thanks for taking this deep dive with us. It's been a pleasure.
We'll catch you next time.